Parents, they need to do more to tackle it. And even as adults, as somebody like myself, that witnessed loads of violence from my granddad, way too much. He was probably subjective to the same thing when he was young. Somebody has to break
Yeah.
that cycle and create a new culture.
Amen. Can I just tell people a bit about now? You've got businesses. Did you think when you were younger that you would ever have these businesses?
No, I didn't think I would have these businesses, and that's why one of the stores that I had it on Tottenham High Road, and it was deliberate. Like, I didn't, when I was on Tottenham High Road, I never had my store on Tottenham High Road because it was going to make me money. I knew that it wasn't going to make me money. The reason why I picked the store on Tottenham High Road is because when I drove down the high road, it was a high road that was very significant to my dad's family. My dad had people involved in the first Tottenham riot that I believe happened in the 80s. One of his friends was Winston Silcott. My auntie worked on the Broadwater Farm community centre. She worked with a lot of the young guys there as a social worker, support worker, etc. So when the shop in Tottenham came around, when I drove down Tottenham High Road for the first time, when I went to get that store, that was actually my was it my third or fourth business location? But when I drove down Tottenham High Road, I only saw Turkish shops. So I might have seen a black store, and the black store would have been a barber store, or it would have been a barber shop, and then you had the Caribbean shop, like I can't remember the name, but you got maybe 2 Caribbean shops on the road, maybe 5 barber shops. So I was specialised in IT services. So I'm like, okay, this is where we're gonna be. We're gonna be on Tottenham High Road. When any of the young black boys come in, young black men come in, they would always ask me, "Is this your store?" And this is why I even dress like the same. I dress the same because and even if I get called into a corporate setting or a corporate business setting, I'd go there like this. I'm not gonna try to wear a shirt. I'm not gonna try to wear a tie. I'm not gonna try to talk like anybody else. I'm gonna go there like this because you need me, because I'm skilled, because of what I do. I'm confident. I've got hundreds and hundreds of reviews. I've got loads of different types of corporate people that have said they've had excellent experiences with me, etc. So moving into Tottenham, when the young black men come in, they ask, "Is this your business?" I say, "Yeah." So the moment they see me and they see me dressed like this, then they automatically think to themselves that they can also do it. So they might ask me, some of the young black boys that I've taken in, I let them see the finances. I let them see how much money comes into the store. I let them see how to count money. I let them see how the business works. So then that way they can sort of, if somebody offers them an option of, okay, do you want to do drugs? Then they can see, wait a minute, how much money am I going to make? And then the person might say, oh, you might make 10 or 20 pounds for every deal that you do. When in my business, I average 150 pounds for every deal that I do. That's on average. That's like minimum. So at the same time, when they see that, they then turn to themselves and say, this doesn't make sense. I don't need to do that because I can go down the legal route, and even if they want to do trade, they might want to be an electrician. It's £60 to change a socket. It takes less than 10 minutes. So, but different people with different skills, with different trade, need to be able to open up their doors to these young men and show them the different options. Because when I was on the council estate, all I could see was drug dealers. I couldn't see nothing else. And even now, you might have different various black men. A lot of them don't care, to be honest. Like they don't have that level of emotional intelligence to understand that they are also a role model. You know, they can also teach someone something. They can also have someone in their environment that won't really impact much if they were overlooking something. You know, and it creates your own little economy and your own little community. So yeah, when I was in Tottenham High Road, the door to these guys were always open. I partnered with an organisation called Safe Haven for Jimmy, which I'd done with all of the stores. So the store in Lewisham, the store in Camden, the store in Tottenham, Wimbledon wasn't really a bad area, but Safe Haven for Jimmy. So if at any time they're in danger, or at any time they think that they're in danger, they can come in and they can inform someone. Someone will call me and I will make a call necessary to make sure that that person's all right. So if they feel that they're under attack, if they feel that, you know, they're suffering from anything that they wouldn't wish to speak to someone about, I partnered my business with this organisation to let people know that this store is a safe haven for young people.
That's great. Thank you very much. I think Karts has got some questions. I'm gonna.
No, I'm gonna open the floor.
Okay, open the floor then.
Short on time.
Yeah, go on. Are there any questions? You want to just unmute and perhaps put your camera on and ask a question, or just ask a question? We're going to finish at 8:30. So if you have a question, then perhaps utilise the time. Otherwise, Carlton, you may have to ask the question while they're still warming up.
That's okay.
So, yeah, go on.
You know, when you were younger, did you feel like there was anyone that sort of, how do I say it? It's like, was there anyone that was around that was doing anything that was positive, that could have had a business acumen that made you think, you know what, maybe in the future I might look up to them? Because in certain hoods, there's certain people that they're in it, but then they leave and they end up doing something else and making more money doing that rather than they were doing on the roads. But there's certain people that are just stuck in their ways. But was there anyone like that around you?
Yeah, that's a good question. My friend that I was talking to, I don't know if he's even in this chat, he might be. I sent him the details, but I was talking to him the other day and he's in prison now. I think he's been in there for like 10 years and he has an amazing character. As much as, you know, he's done wrong and he's doing his time. But some people, they have natural characteristics or aura that sometimes people like to be drawn towards. So he was very funny. He's got a really nice smile. He knows how to talk to different people. He's good looking. He looks like someone that you could trust straight away. So he would be an excellent business person if he learned how a trade works, and that's all that a lot of the time you need to do. Like, understand how a trade works, understand your business, understand your environment. You know, it's like, for me, I would always say to myself, like, if I walk into like a Tesco's and I say to someone, "Where's the pasta?" I expect the person to say, "It's on aisle 7 on your right hand side next to the rice." So every time it's like, but this is how young people know their environment. If they see someone new, they'll be like, "Who's that person? That person looks like a Fed," or "Who's that person? That person looks like this," because you know your environment, but you're using it in the wrong way. So if you know how to adapt, like, your level of awareness to, in a sense of, right, now I actually know where this is in this business and where that is, and don't be scared to start from the bottom. So if you want to do something or you want to be someone, there's lots of young people, they might be interested in music, but they don't know what a music contract looks like. So you want to take in all aspects of music. So you might say to yourself, okay, let me go for an internship in a label. Let me ask the record label if I'm willing to work here for just travel and food, and I'll work here for the next 2 years, the next 3 years, and then I understand how a record label works. So then you might go back to where you're from, You might go back to whoever is the artist on your area and say, right, let's do this. And because you've seen it already, you've taken in everything else that you might have learned in your environment anyway. Like, you know, in my environment, it was somebody else that taught me how much this weighs. It was somebody else that taught me what to charge a customer. It's somebody else that taught me how to know if the customer was the police or not. It was all of these things that you learn in an environment that you would need to learn in a business anyway, or in a job anyway. But sometimes when you've got emotions like pride, you've got emotions like ego, you've got emotions like stereotypes, you've got emotions like expectations. You may have friends that come around you that expect you to not have a job, that might say to you, oh, you know, having a 9 to 5, that's not cool. I can make that in an hour, I can make that in 2 hours. But at what risk? But at what cost? You know, so, and then is it sustainable? How long can you do it for? You know, and I was somebody that done it for 10 years, and I can tell you now it wasn't worth it. You know, and all the extra stress, all the extra damages that you might have done, and you know, even cases where sometimes some of my friends might have sold someone something and a guy dies in a situation like that. And the thing about it is you don't want to be a part of it. You know, you don't want to be a part of it. You don't want to live with that. You don't want to know that you contributed to that, you know, and then, you know, even in some cases you go to prison for that. And then once these things are on your record, and then it's a case of now you need to come out and you need to find a new opportunity, you need to seek a new opportunity. Like I said, the friend that I was comparing the question to, he's coming out to try to sort his life out at 35 years old. Mm-hmm. And I'm sort of just pleading with him and begging him and saying to him, look, whatever opportunity somebody offers you to do with drugs, say no. Anything, and I'm saying to him, they're not your friend. You know, if somebody comes, and fair enough, people are limited to their own environment or their product of their environment, or they're limited to their own experiences, but he's a friend of mine. I love him, you know, and I've seen him, such an amazing person, such an amazing character, give away 15 years of his life over the last 15 years, and he has a son, you know, and you know, it's one of those ones, you know, he's still, but he's being accountable, so he's in a very, very good headspace. However, he can come out of prison and then he could go back into an environment where people say, look, do this, and then he could be under surveillance and he could be back where he is now within a year, which is what happens a lot of the time. So, you know, but if you're willing to start from the bottom, and, you know, we spoke about it, he says, yeah, I want to start a removal business. You know, start from the bottom. If I have somebody that sends me something, I'll send you a jobs slowly, but just don't let me down, you know. So this is where, you know, like what you said, and then there's a few other people that have left, but not many, to be honest, because what drugs actually does to people is it makes them incredibly lazy. Mm. It makes you lazy. It makes you think you're doing better than you're actually doing. And to be honest, when you start getting higher up a food chain, if there's any young black men that are listening, when you start getting higher up a drug food chain, the people higher up the food chain ain't black. Mm. So any of the people that I met, they were all white men. And they all had jobs, and they were all running businesses as well as doing what they were doing. So you wouldn't even think that that's who they were. So a lot of the time when you're at the bottom, and because that's where most of us were, we were right at the bottom of the food chain. Everything trickles down from the top, comes down to the bottom, and then you get the blame for everything happening at the bottom. Mm. And then the person who stays doing what they're doing, he's got his big house